Babble Talk is not filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Tech,
Hi.
learning things.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good.
There you are.
I don't see you. Is this normal?
You don't? Okay. Oh, I see. My bad. Ta-da.
Ah, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I was really looking forward to interviewing you and this movie that you got coming. It's really interesting, and I spent
Yeah.
the whole afternoon on the internet going to that rabbit hole, and my gosh, it's
Yeah.
heavy and wow. And also, I was really excited to talk to you because looking into your career and everything, I saw that you're a musician and
Yes.
you had multiple hats. You're also a producer, a writer. My God, do you get overwhelmed by all that sometimes?
No, I think it's quite the opposite for me. I get overwhelmed when I have nothing. And it's just,
Okay.
I need to create something. And that's why I end up wearing all the hats. It's not that I'm good at anything. It's just that I can't sit still.
Okay. Wow. Wow. You've been acting for a while, a bit
Yeah.
more than a while.
Yeah, 11 years.
11 years.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Uh, what was your first credit as your first role in a movie?
That's a good question. I don't know if I got credited for it, but there was two. I'm trying to remember what came first. I think it was a buddy of mine he was an extra. So he was just doing extra work. And I honestly, I had no interest in doing it because I was knee deep in music and producing records and writing songs. And it was so funny because it wasn't what he did for a living. He did other things, but
Mhm.
he just did it because it's like, he gets to be on set, he gets to be paid, and they feed him really well. So he's like, why not?
Mhm.
So he invited me to go with him, and it was on the set of I think it was called I Spy with Owen Wilson and Eddie Murphy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and it was actually quite fascinating because as an extra, I didn't know anything. To be totally clear with everybody, at that time I knew nothing about being on set. I just followed my friend, got herded in with 1,000 other people. And so next thing I know, because I am who I am and my personality needs to meet people, I ended up meeting Eddie Murphy and
Wow.
talking to the director. Like the first day I was there, like I've just made my way because it's a boxing movie, if I remember right. And they're all like, Eddie Murphy's like this champion boxer. And so he's in the ring. It's supposed to be Caesar's Palace, or I forget what it was, and Owen Wilson, I think, was a spy. So they're doing this boxing scene, and I was up in the nosebleeds, and I'm like, well, what am I even here for? They can't even see me. So I made my way all the way down to the front row of, of the boxing fight, and
Wow.
then I just saw Eddie Murphy start walking towards me, and I was like, well, you introduce yourself, right? Because that's what people do, don't they? I don't know. So I introduced myself. That was my first experience. I met Eddie Murphy on the first show
Wow.
I ever did anything on.
Wow. To have been an extra on different sets, this is very wow. You were really lucky. Like
Yeah,
meeting.
this is the first and only set. No, I was an extra my second time, but that was literally my first experience. And I wasn't being an extra. I just did it the one time. And to be honest, I didn't really like it. I didn't like sitting
Yeah.
around doing nothing. I just
Yeah.
couldn't handle it.
I mean, some people have told me this before I tried to be an extra on different movies. They told me that sometimes they treat you as human furniture and you gotta be around
Yeah, it
and
is sad.
yeah.
And I don't know that in my experience, the people I've worked with as an actor and as the few shows I've produced, it's not on purpose. I don't
Yeah.
think, not all the time. I think it's just because it's like go, 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 go. Every minute costs thousands of dollars if you delay. So they're like, not to be rude, we need to get you there now, and you need to be standing here, and you need to cheer, and you need to not cheer, and you need to be quiet, but you need to clap. And it's like, weird that is to clap like this.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
I
know.
was like, what am I even
Yeah.
doing? Like,
You can't make sounds. You
yay.
can't make sounds.
No.
Yeah, that's the thing. And
So now, like, since that show, every time I watch a cheering scene, I'm like, I remember that. I know what they're doing.
yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
Funny. It's a funny world, but it's fun.
Yeah. And you said that you were very like into music back then, and
Oh yeah.
you had no intentions of being an actor or anything like this.
Oh.
Wow. So
But
how?
that's my world. I had no intention of being a musician either.
Wow. Wow. Also, wow.
Yeah, I was an athlete. I was trying to be a professional athlete.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my story's crazy, dude.
Oh,
My
I
story.
want to hear.
Honestly, when I talk about my story, sometimes it feels like a movie I watched, but I'm actually in it, and it's not a movie.
So, what kind of
Yeah,
athlete were you? I'm so interested.
yeah. I was. I did anything and everything. Like again, I'm just a guy that can't sit still. So like, I was on as a teenager. I think I was on 3 or 4 different track and field teams.
Wow.
I
Okay.
was I was captain of the wrestling team, which is what I was training for. I was hoping to go to the Olympics with that, which never happened, clearly. um, but at BMX biking, skateboarding, road racing, like pedal bike, like I don't even know what they call them nowadays, like Tour de France, but on a smaller scale.
Oh,
That kind
okay.
of stuff. So I was training for that. But then I got in a car accident. I was left for dead, slipped into a coma, had to relearn how to walk, the whole shebang. And then,
Wow.
yeah, my story is just weird, man. It's crazy. It's just proof that God's got a sense of humor.
Wow. No, I mean you fell on your feet back. I mean you got back on your feet, and this is
Yeah.
admirable, and this is very telling about you. And
Mm.
also, I sorry I forgot to say it, but welcome on Babble Talk, the show you're on right now. Uh,
Yeah. What's up?
some
As you can tell, I babble a lot. It's
Me too. That's
perfect.
why I called it Babble Talk. I have no work to do.
I
Uh,
like it.
thank you for being on the show, and
Oh, my
I
pleasure.
wanted to talk to you also. I was excited to talk to you because on the show previously I've had the opportunity of talking to Jesse Hutch.
Yeah.
That you know
Sweet.
the guy really well, and
Yeah.
he shot a pilot for a show called Fox and Hunter, and it's
Yeah.
developed.
Jesse Hutch is
And
my
I wanted
business
to
partner.
I wanted to know like how is it going? Is it how is it?
Oh, it's the film industry, man. It's
Oh
it's
man, I'm sorry.
hurry up and wait. Like people, we haven't had really any negative feedback outside of maybe there's a couple networks that were like, it's not what we're looking for right now. Everybody seems to enjoy it, but it's just a matter of getting the right people in place. It takes time. Plus, I mean, if you've interviewed Jesse, you know he's been busy.
Oh yeah.
I've been busy, like I just finished this film, Doomsday Mom, the Lori Vallow project, which is
We're gonna
insane.
got it.
And that premieres Saturday, June
Yeah,
26th. On,
Saturday, June 26th.
yeah. So I did that. And then I've also been recording a new record with my friends, Jim Riley and
Yeah,
Sean F. And
I've seen
like,
that.
so
Damn.
it's like, that's literally days.
Yeah.
It might even be finished tonight. I don't know. We're still waiting to find out, but
Wow.
so I'm excited about that. But it's like you're doing that while you're pitching. Like Jesse and I have co-created and written, I
Yeah.
think, 26 film projects, TV series projects that we created, and we're pitching that at the same time as we're doing everything else.
Wow. Wow. So
Yeah,
you're finishing a record right now, and
correct.
you're hoping to release it by the end of this year, right? Or next year?
Yeah, I'm thinking before the end of summer. I mean, it really depends.
Mm.
Like, so I have some friends in the industry that are way more successful than I've ever been. And so I'll be looking to them and just asking them, hey, what do you recommend? Because the industry's changed so much,
Oh
even
yeah.
in the last 5 years. Like,
Even is
I'm like,
that this year was crazy, man.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't even know. Like, I really actually don't know. Like, I've released albums like 10 years ago where
Mm.
I'm like, oh, yeah, you do this, you get it in CD stores and you do all that. Now it's like, what's a CD store? Who doesn't even
Exactly.
buy things anymore? Nobody
Everything.
really even buys music anymore. They just stream it all.
That's the thing, and
Yeah.
I was interested in your musical background because looking for you online, I saw that you did covers on your YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
for fun.
yeah. It's for fun, but it shows that you're really good, and I like your
Oh,
voice,
thank
and I really like the fact that I've seen that you've done a lot of Beatles cover, and
you. Yeah, I love
I
Beatles.
always appreciate that, especially when it's only on the guitar. I'm a guitarist. I like it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And have you like had the opportunity to use your musical background in other areas like TV, films, or anything like
Yeah,
that?
actually, my first. So when did I get in that TV? There was this TV series called Highlander. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh my God.
Remember that?
My brothers and I watch that TV show all the time. I love
Oh,
the too.
so that was the first highlight of my music career because my last name is Mcleod and
Oh yeah.
Highlander is Mcleod. And
Yeah.
then they wanted one of my songs that was on the radio at the time. And I was like, yeah, I want to. Yes. So I had one of my songs got on the Highlander TV series, which was so cool for me. And I've had a song. So another interesting story, the guy that got me into acting is a guy named Graham Wardle,
Mhm.
who's one of the lead. He plays a guy named Ty on Heartland, one of the main characters on Heartland. And me and him met because, man, this is a long story, but we met because I got asked to put on a songwriting contest for the Olympics when they came to Vancouver in 2010.
Okay.
And then Graham was a guest judge and like a celebrity actor guest judge. And then we became like literally instant friends.
Okay.
And he invited me on set to Heartland. And that's actually how I got into acting because he's like, why don't you just go sit in the stands? I was like, okay, I guess I'll. So that was the second background thing I did. But so through him telling me about this TV show Heartland, which I had no idea at the time, I knew nothing about it. He was just describing it in such vivid detail that I just started typing on my computer. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, these are great lyrics, man. Like, he's like, what? You can't make a song out of that. I'm like, sure I can. And so I started playing the song and then he started singing and I started singing and so we wrote a song and that song ended up on the show because, and I'll never forget it because he calls me. He's like, dude, you'll never believe where I am right now. I'm like, on set? He's like, yeah. But I'm in a truck driving, listening to our song with you singing on the radio and I'm singing along like I'm driving, singing to the radio. I'm like, that's awesome. So yeah, I had a song on Heartland. I had a song on So You Think You Can Dance. Yeah, I've had a little bit of stuff. I've written some news ditties for like sports newscasting stuff. And
Wow. Wow, your life is really a movie. Wow.
You gotta try, man. You gotta just put it out there, see what happens.
I hope. I mean, I'm working on songs right now.
Sweet.
Honestly, I think they are all not great. I'm still
no, don't say that. Don't say that. There's always something worth hanging on to in every song you write. You just got to know how to find it and then build around it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. This is the reason why I haven't trashed some of the song. There's really something that I in every song that I've kept that I think, wow, this little moment, that little verse is really something that touches me. And honestly, sometimes when I write a song, I feel like there's nothing around me and that it's just me and whatever is out there, like God, or to me God, but whatever is out there is just me and him, and I'm just there. And I started the guitar a year ago, and I can't stop doing it. I do it every time, and it annoys my neighbors, I know that, but one of the
they'll
things.
like it when you start doing it and they're like, hey, I love that. What is that? And you're like, you're welcome. That's this guy.
Exactly.
No, that's awesome, man. Keep going. What style do you write?
Honestly, right now, I listen to all of the albums of John Prime, and I'm into trying to doing kind of like a pop a country album, especially because I have an acoustic right now. I love the sound of the acoustic, and to me, and the acoustic guitar is the best guitar. I've also got an electric. I've got a Telecaster right here.
Ooh, that's my favorite.
And I still play my acoustic every day and more than my electric because I just like having quote unquote true sounds in my music. It's just how my little thing. But enough of me. You
sorry, yeah.
yeah. something you talked about your music and everything. Who are your inspirations musically?
Oh man, I mean, it goes without saying the Beatles. My mom's born in England. My dad loved the Beatles growing up. So like literally, I think, yeah, I'm even wearing a Beatles shirt
Oh
right
yeah. Oh my God. I noticed.
now. Yeah, my brother made this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Beatles first and foremost. U2 is a huge influence on me.
Mm.
Although if you listen to my music, I don't know that you'll hear that unless you're looking for it. But yeah, like John Lennon's lyrics, Bono's lyrics, they're so good. But I like Lenny Kravitz, Elton John, some things that might weird people out because I'm a country artist. I love Mariah Carey. I love Boyz II Men, Silk, Shy, Run DMC, Kool Moe Dee, like all the old rappers, Beastie Boys. Like,
Wow.
I mean, there are like, I think on one of the new songs is a bit, I don't know, it's a bit rhythmic. And there's a part that even Jim Riley, the guy that produced, um, he's like, man, I want that to be like a Beastie Boys breakdown bridge. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. That sounds awesome. I mean, I don't know that you'll hear it, but for us, we're like, yeah, it's got a little tint.
Yeah.
You can't go too far, otherwise country people will be like, what is that?
Yeah. And
What
also
in Power Nations is that?
and also like you just you reminded me of the fact that when I looked at all your covers, one of the covers I really liked was the No Diggity Run by Ed Sheeran. And
Yeah, no diggity. I don't know why that just popped in my head. I'm like, wonder what that would sound like on a acoustic guitar. So I just started picking it, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
and wow, this is amazing. And also talking about all the hats you have, you are you are a stunt performer, right? You've done some training in that.
And they let me. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've done lots of training. Yeah,
Oh,
lots and lots. Yeah, I've trained with the special forces. I've trained like for on and off since 2013. So yeah, like quite a while with them. And then I've done lots of MMA, Jeet Kune Do, Krav Maga,
ooh, okay.
Kung Fu, Aikido. I mean, Kali, knife fighting, stick fighting, sword fighting. I love a physical scene, which
Yeah.
is kind of funny. Most of my scenes, they're like, can you dial it down? I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I can do that. So
Yeah.
you just want me to put the gun in his mouth? I don't get to beat him up with it? Okay.
Yeah. Reminded me of I saw an episode of Frequency that you were on where you played Earl, the butcher knife, and you were like staring at the cops with the butcher knife, and you were like,
Yeah, that was Mackay Pfeiffer and Riley Smith.
really?
Mackay Pfeiffer, yeah, man, he's amazing. So was Riley, man. Those guys are fantastic. Great to work with.
Oh man, do you still keep in touch with people you've worked with?
Um, I try to. So yeah, like me and Riley kept in touch for a while. Me and Mackay never really did. We didn't have much together, but Riley and I hit it off right away. But then Frequency got canceled. He moved back to LA, I think, and yeah, you just kind of lose touch sometimes. And
Yeah,
when we see each other again, it'll be
yeah, but
normal. But
I imagine he's an amazing guy, and you're too, and it's just, and I was also wondering, how is it working with Jesse?
honestly, Jesse's incredible. Jesse's so talented. Like it sometimes like you think that you're good at something. Like, I mean, I wouldn't act if I didn't think I was at least okay. I don't think I'm phenomenal. I know that. I'm no Ed Norton by any stretch. I'm no Anthony Hopkins, but I do my thing. Jesse is like, he can play the handsome love interest and he can play like the darkest villain. And you're just like, whoa, like, where did that come from? But he's also technical. Like he understands because he directs as well.
Mm.
And he understands like lenses and angles. And I get that a little bit. Like for me, it's like, okay, what are we, a 35? What's the lens size? So I know kind of where my playground is. But Jesse doesn't even have to ask. He just kind of goes like this. Okay, I know how much room I have. I'm like, who are you? Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, this is
Yeah, he's a very talented man.
yeah. This is the impression he gave me when I interviewed him. He was talking about developing like a sixth sense and being able to, while acting, feeling the camera moving, and I was like, wow, I'm an actor too. I can do that shit.
Nice. Yeah, it'll come. It'll come. You get used to it. You start to know when someone's watching you. It's like, all right. So you're like, where's my light? Okay, there's my light. Or where's the camera? If the camera's there, I need to turn a little bit. You just get used to it a little bit.
And
it just takes.
Yeah, something I was.
But he's got a sixth sense about it.
Yeah, definitely. Something I was wondering, how much time did it take you to like to hit your mark, like to get used to hitting your marks? Because it's something that is for me. I'm acting on stage, and I'm soon gonna try to do it on TV and movies, but something that I've never done. So I'm wondering how much adaptation, how long does it take to get adapted to that?
Well, that's a good question. I'll tell you when I get there. No, I think it for me, it generally depends on the scene.
Okay.
Because sometimes you're just so caught up in the emotion of what the story you're telling that you're not even thinking about the mark. And if sorry, I'm trying to think of all the technical terms I can use that people will understand. But if the camera's on a tripod, I'll just say that for ease of understanding. If the camera's on a tripod, you kind of have to hit your mark. But if it's on a handheld or if it's on a dolly, like if it's moving, you can kind of play a little bit because the cameraman will catch you, because they would rather you be delivering a phenomenal performance than going, hey, mister, you know what I mean? Like they don't want that.
Oh, reminds me of
they don't want you doing this.
Yeah.
I got it. Where's that yellow tape?
Oh,
got it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it also depends. Like sometimes I've done scenes where it's like my tape marks like there and I end up over here. And they're like, did you want to let us know you were gonna? I was like, I didn't know I was gonna do that. It just happened.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the director and the camera crew and the DP and what they want. If they're like, because there are some sets they're like, please hit the mark.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah, you just got to do it and you got to do your best.
Thank you. Honestly, that's very helping. And thank you. Really, like I really was a little bit nervous about it, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about Doomsday, the Laurie Vallow story, premiering on Lifetime June 26th. Like we talked about it a little bit before, but it's a crazy story. It's
I couldn't believe it was a true story at first.
Yeah. How did you hear about it?
To be honest, I got the audition and I was like, Laurie Vallow's project. I was like, I don't even know what that is. So I asked a friend, I'm like, Laurie Vallow, like, you don't know who Laurie Vallow is? I'm like, he's a real person? They're like, yeah. So I started Googling and searching and I'm like, whoa, like that's insane. Like it just drew me in the more and I was like, man, to be able to play a real person, that's cool. Like that takes your craft to a whole new level, a different level, I'll say. Yeah. But yeah, that the story kind of drew me in. Like I was at the time, I was up for another movie. I had it would have been a bigger part, and it was a cool part, but this one I was a little more interested in. And then I pray about it and God shuts one down and opens the door for the other one. So I'm like, okay, this is the one I'm supposed to do. It just turned out like literally the day before that the other one couldn't make it work. So I was like, great, Laurie Vallow project it is.
Yeah, and just to describe it for the people who don't know that story, basically there's a couple who is linked and trialed for a string of murders surrounding their relatives, and it goes from, unfortunately, the children, her brother, her ex-husbands, and you play one of the ex-husbands, Vallow, and you actually look like him. When you look at a picture, I've seen a picture comparison of you and like you
pretty crazy, right?
Yeah. And was this like, this must have been definitely helpful when you were auditioning? Did the people who were linked to the production told you, oh, you look so much like Charles, or was it something that you discovered after getting the role?
Well, when I did the audition and they said that I was pinned, that they wanted me for it, and my agent was checking dates and stuff, I started to grow my facial hair because I never have facial hair. I like to be shaved. Like, I mean, I have some, I guess the shadow is always there, but I like to be clean shaven. So when I saw that, I was like, man, I really like this part. I'm going to grow my facial hair like his. So that really helped to do the visual for the character, and also helped me get into the character. And I started to, just really study the way he smiled, the way he held his arms, how he walked, how he held his, like when he walked, he has it. It's interesting. All the footage, little things, like when he walked, he spread his fingers, which I thought was really interesting. I'm like, never seen that before, but just little things. But yeah, as far as looking like him, there's so many crazy pictures of this guy that I'm like, sometimes I look like his brother, and other times I don't look anything like him. I don't know how to do that. Like, so it was interesting. But then production sent me that one photo. It's probably the one that you see the comparison of, that I was like, okay, that's the one I'm going to mimic. And we'll go from there.
And wow. So the length of like the research you had to do, you have done for this role was massive from what I understand. Like looking at mannerisms and the way he walks and how long was that? How much time did you have between getting the role and the beginning of production?
That's a good question. I want to say a couple weeks, maybe.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't a lot of time. It was pretty quick. Pretty quick turnaround. I want to say 2 weeks, maybe.
Felt any pressure from that?
No, not really. Because I did a bit of research for the audition, which gave me a little indication of who this guy might be. But then when I was told that they wanted me for the part, I spent a full day with a friend of mine who's been following this story since day one. Wow. And she walked me through everything. Like literally, I'm not kidding. It was 8-9 hours nonstop watching online footage. She's showing me cameras. I'm like, I didn't even know that existed. And she's like, yeah, you got to know where to look. There's a whole bunch of people following this story. I'm like, dang, like that's crazy. So how does this guy get angry? How does this guy raise his voice? But he doesn't raise his voice. You know what I mean? Like there's not really, like he really cared about his wife. Like he really did, even when she left, like, or whoever left. We'll just leave that because that's kind of up in the air. But whoever, like, he still loved her, man. Like there's no question in my mind that he was.
Yeah, this is sad, and this is one of the things that as an actor I'm like, this is so interesting to portray as an actor, and it kind of makes me wonder, do you hope to get more roles like this of people who truly existed, or do you feel like maybe later but not right now?
You know what? Yeah, I would do it. It's a different study. It's fun to, like, because yes, there's a mimicking going on. Like, who is this guy? How does he walk? How does he talk? All those things. But at the same time, I've got to bring life to that. I can't just copy. It's like, you can get Boys to Men. I don't know why I'm using this as a reference because they're in my head. You get Boys to Men, and then you get someone who's trying to sound like Boys to Men. They'll never be Boys to Men. They may sound amazing, but they're never going to be Boys to Men. They've got to do their own story. It's like a cover. When someone does a cover song, if they try to do it exactly the same, no one will like it because they'll just always hear the original. But if they add their own thing, they make it their own.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then people are like, wow, that's cool. And that, I think, is part of our job as actors, is to be, if you're playing a real character, be as real as you can, but also put a little of you in there. Like, have some fun, be creative.
Wow, definitely. I never even thought of that, but yeah, this is a great analogy, like using the covers. Wow, yeah, you're definitely right. And I do believe that sometimes even deviating completely from the character that existed is also a valid choice. It just depends on what.
Yeah, you might annoy some people that actually knew the character, but that's a risk you got to take. You know what I mean? Like if someone knew the character you're playing and then you totally change it and they're like, no, he's not like that at all. Or she's not like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
you might upset people, but that's art, right? That's what
Yeah,
we do.
yeah. And
You
you
got
made
that
me think
chance.
of, yeah, and you made me think of I don't know if you've seen that movie American Sniper by Clint Eastwood.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, and Clint Eastwood was talking about the fact that the wife of the Marine that is portrayed in the movie
Yeah.
was really waiting for the movie because this was gonna be what was gonna be showed to their children for the rest
Yeah.
of their lives. And I can't imagine the amount of pressure Brad Pitt
Yeah.
had for that because oh my god. And you have something similar in a way because the people who've known Charles will
Yeah.
look at this movie and be like, okay, so this was,
Did he do a good job or not? Yeah. They're the real, for me, like, I love all the fans or the critics. I love them all. But it's the people that knew the guy that I'm playing that I'm like, I don't know. Did I do that right? Because I really wanted to honor him. Like, I really did. Because from what I saw of him, he was just a really nice guy in love with his wife
Mm,
and didn't know what to do. Like, he was really lost.
yeah, this is true. And you talked about the loving fans and everything and critics. Can you look at your own critics from
Can
you
I look at them? What do you mean?
like your own reviews? Sorry, can you look?
Oh, I see. I was like, I can look at them, I guess, if you show me a picture. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think there's a time and place, I think, and I
Mm,
think it's important as any creative person to know when and when not to look at
mm,
your criticisms, and know how to receive and when to receive them, because some people in the media, as we all very much know during the whole corona thing, some people just like to push buttons and rile people up and get people mad and
mm,
feel ugly and gross. But then there's other people that actually care and they're like, you know what, I was really rooting for this guy or girl, but they just kind of fell short. And that's, if that's what I did, I can hear that. Absolutely. Tell me, let me know. I'll
I
hear
was
that.
also wondering when exactly, because this is still an ongoing case and there are always new elements dropping, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Uh, when did you shoot that movie?
It was about a month ago. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. April, end of April. I think it was end of April.
Okay. And how was the COVID restrictions for you? Because I've talked to different people throughout the beginning of the pandemic about what their specific experience was. What was your experience?
Um, I tend to try, like, when I'm on set, no matter what the situation, I just try to have fun and love people around me.
Mm,
That being said, the restrictions were difficult to work with, but the people on this set were amazing. All the actors were phenomenal, the crew was phenomenal, the director was phenomenal, the, like, everybody was so fun to work with. I had, like, it's just like when you're in a scene and you're emoting, you're trying to bring life to this character, and then they're like, okay, cut. And then they put on a face mask and put on this thing and goggles, and you're like,
mm,
well, and they're spraying everything down. It's like, what are you doing? This is
yeah.
so ridiculous. I mean, for me anyway, like, I don't know. Like, yeah, everybody's got their own opinions on the coronavirus and all the craziness that's happened. But for me, as a creative, I think the amazing team on this set really made it easy. They really did, including the COVID captain. He was phenomenal. That guy was phenomenal. Super
Wow.
nice guy. Made it
Wow.
really,
I really, it sounded like a great experience.
it really was.
And honestly, thank you, Don, for this interview. You were absolutely amazing. And
You're welcome.
like time for me passed really fast. Like it's been 40 minutes. And
Already?
yeah, yeah. And
Sorry, I babble a lot, but I thought that's what we were supposed to do.
yeah. And
I don't know what to do with my hands. The car handles real well.
and before going, I wanted to know a couple of things. Who is your favorite Beatle? Do you
Oh
have?
man, that's hard. That's so hard. Because one of my favorite Beatles songs is Something, which was written by George.
Yeah.
John Lennon has written, and his play with words is so good. The way he just plays with words. And then there's Paul, that's like, though he's the more poppy one, he grew into this insane musician, like to bring in the orchestra and the horn. I'm just like, what is going on? Like, it's hard to say. And then Ringo, though, I mean, Photographs, he's written a bunch of great songs too, and like Octopus's Garden and all those. Like,
Mm.
it's hard to say that they would be who they were without all of them.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's hard to say. I don't know. Like, a Day in the Life, like, would that song be the same without Paul's bridge? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And that being said, George Martin, if he wasn't there, is telling them, hey, Paul, let's take that part of your bridge and put it in John's Day in the Life song that he wrote from a newspaper. Like, who writes songs from a newspaper? I mean, Elton John does. He can write songs with anything. That guy's so talented too.
Wow.
But
Yeah. And
Beatles, all of them. I don't know.
yeah. And I'm definitely looking for hearing your record, and thank you for everything. And actually, I said it was 40 minutes. I think it was just me recording myself, but the interview is shorter than that. Another
Yeah.
question before
Yeah,
going is
course.
Jesse Hutch is a unionized stunt performer. He
Yes.
told me this. And are you a unionized stunt performer? Are you going to be? Is it in the plans for you?
So I'm in the union, but not as a stunt performer. So,
Okay.
I mean, I haven't done enough union stunts is the
Okay.
bottom line of it. It's a hard thing to do, because as an actor, they don't really want you to do your own stunts a lot of times. And then I'm more known as an actor than a stunt performer. So the stunt teams don't really want me to come in, but a lot of my friends are stunt performers, and I've trained with some of the best, I think, in the world. But like, I don't know. I would love to, but whatever God wants, man. I'm open-handed with all this stuff, like music, acting, film, whatever, writing, creating. I just like being around people.
Wow.
That's
Yeah. Absolutely, I agree with you. Being around people is amazing, and creating around people is equally amazing.
yeah.
And, thank you so much. You were so giving, and I had such a great time, and thank you so much. Honestly,
Pleasure.
best moment of my day, personally.
Nice.
Thank you so much, and people check Doomsday, the Rory Vallow story that premieres June 26th on Lifetime. You play Charles and Don Mcleod. Thank you so much again, and hope to talk to you in the future. And thank you again.
Yeah, man. You too. Keep writing.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.